Well, hello and good afternoon, SLAE family. It is a pleasure to be here with you again. I hope you had a fantastic holiday. And as we wrap up this year, I know so many of us start to reflect on what 2021 looked like, and even more importantly, what we want to get out of 2022. I also know that many of you who watch us are entrepreneurs, business owners, etc. So we have a special treat today because we have a woman who is going to help us with how to take our businesses to the next level. So it's my pleasure today to introduce to you Patricia Marshall. She is a business advisor for Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program, which you're going to hear about in just a minute. But before we do that, we always love to know the woman behind the mission. So Pat, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to be here. And before we talk business, maybe you could share a little bit about your background, your family, your education, or anything else so people could get to know you.
Where do I start? Thank you, Leanne, first of all, for having me here. It is a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk about entrepreneurship and growing your businesses, particularly our Goldman Sachs program. So a little bit about my background. I started out as a chemist, believe it or not. I worked as a chemist for a little while and decided, wearing a lab jacket wasn't cutting it. I wanted to be in a business suit. So I have a master's in finance, and I worked for Bank of America and all of its predecessor banks for about 18 and a half years. And I've done so many things with that organization, from being a credit analyst to minority business development to a lobbyist for them for some time and a mortgage officer. So all of that kind of wraps up into one little neat entrepreneurship package, because I'm able to advise people on so many areas related to finance and banking and marketing and selling. And I am the mom of married, and I have two sons, one college age and one in his last year of high school. Yay me, I have a pandemic teen.
So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, so that's my background is varied, and it's kind of brought me to this space where I left corporate America in 2008, went to work for a smaller company, and then my husband and I also do some private investing. And so we're part owners of a really neat restaurant here in Columbia, Maryland called Cured at 18th and 21st, and very dibble and dabble in real estate. So I just always say your life experiences kind of bring you to where you are. And, I look back and go, wow, I did that. I didn't like that. But hey, it was so very useful for what I'm doing now. And so that's it.
Sometimes we don't always have like the, straight and narrow path. Sometimes life kind of goes like this, chemist,
Yes.
restaurant owner, financial genius. Yes. You kind of covered it all, businesswoman.
So, I didn't say I was a financial genius, but I'll take it.
Mom, all of it, right? So let's talk a little bit about the program that Goldman Sachs offers. Can you share a little bit about what it does, what the design of it is, who would want to take it, who it's built for, please?
So the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program, it is a national program. We have a national cohort, but we also localize it. So we have in various states partnerships with community colleges or universities. And here in Maryland, we have a program that's been in existence since 2017. I joined the program in 2019, and just recently became what we call a virtual business advisor on the national level. So what we do is we invite entrepreneurships who are so busy working in their business that they don't have time to work on their business. And oftentimes, if you're constantly or consistently working in your business, there's not time to strategize around growth. And so how are you going to grow your business? What ideas do you have in your head that you want to take into fruition? But you can't just think of the idea and magically it happens. You have to strategize on how to get there. So our program walks you, we call them cohorts. Mm-hmm. We call our participants scholars. And we offer, it's about a 12 to 15 week program.
Okay.
Right now, we're virtual in Maryland. We're always virtual on the national level, except the last week of the program. On the national level, the scholars are invited to New York. On the local level, everything is done at your local site. And we just have fun, slicing and dicing your business from your looking at your financials, understanding what your next big idea is, how to implement it, how to look at your people, how to look at yourself as a leader, sales and marketing, creating your sales funnels, how to market your idea. Um, wow, we go through banking, how to understand your banker. That's we call them modules. So all these things I'm talking about are modules. And so you spend a week on each module and you actually delve into your business. You work on aspects that are very difficult to work on. Some people aren't very savvy in finance. By the time you come out of our program, you're going to understand how to read all of your financial statements, how to make some determinations around them.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to understand who your customer is, because not everybody is your customer.
Yes.
So you're going to understand how to write a customer profile. You're going to understand how to, um, you know, find audiences for your new idea. Find money for it if you need money. So we don't lend money to you, right? But we teach you aspects around lending, finance, banking,
Gotcha.
non-traditional banking, and so forth. And we also teach you a little bit about advocacy, how to be the best advocate for your business,
Okay.
how to advocate for the business community, not just your business, but how to be a part of the larger community around you. We talk about networking. Yeah, there's so much. What have I
Lots and
left
lots.
out? It's a lot of stuff.
Well, then you have a nice chunk of time to cover the course. So, what are some examples of businesses that have done the program? So, if somebody's watching this, they're going, well, I don't know if that would fit me. Would it be a hair
Uh,
salon, a cafe, a real estate agent? What kind of businesses tend to take advantage of your program?
all of those and more. So we have businesses. Well, let me just talk about the requirements and then I'll go into
Great.
exactly answering your question. So right now, revenue. So we have revenue requirements, and the revenue
Okay.
requirements, because of COVID and so many people, so many entrepreneurs losing revenue, we've kind of lowered the revenue requirement to 75,000 in revenue per year.
Mm-hmm.
On the national level, it's 100,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
In revenue, you have to have 2 employees. One can be yourself, you as your employee, and a full-time and or part-time part-time employee or contractor. You have to be in business for at least 2 years.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily want to consider startup phase,
Mm.
because I think, we want people who are ready for that growth phase.
Gotcha.
So you might think, oh, 75,000 is startup, but it may not be. You could be in business for 5 years and just getting some traction. We have businesses who are beyond that, who are ready for a next phase of growth. Maybe they're at 5 million and they're trying to get to 10. Maybe you're at 100,000 and you're trying to get to 500,000. We help you kind of work through those steps to get there.
And can it be either a brick and mortar or an online business? Are there any requirements regarding that?
Yeah, we don't have requirements whether, who's doing brick and mortar? No.
I know.
I mean, yeah, no,
I
I
think
mean, of
half of
course,
them went under during the pandemic, unfortunately, anyway. Yeah. But
yeah.
I gotta ask, you know.
Well, we have businesses coming out of the pandemic in a way more successful now than they were even prior to the pandemic. So that is some good news. I would say that the types of businesses we have are service businesses. So it can be an accounting firm, a law firm, medical practice. Doctors are always great scholars, and lawyers always good to be lawyering, but or being a doctor, but running that business sometimes is very difficult, right?
Yeah.
And so on the service side, You could be, automotive. I mean, it runs the gamut. And then we have those who produce products. We have people who have invented products, right? Have invented methodologies or technologies. So we have technology companies. We have hair salons. Yeah, definitely hair salons. Salon owners are raking in a lot of money, but need to know how to manage that to grow their business. And oftentimes they're going into the product line. So how do we think about that growth into a product line? So yeah, we have businesses. We have distilleries. That's
You got
always
it all.
fun.
Okay.
We cover it all, pest control,
Really interesting.
mold remediation, plumbing, HVAC services. If you're in business and you have a LLC or INC, we welcome you. I mean, everybody who comes in our program, no matter how advanced they feel they are in their business, there's always one little sticking point
Yeah.
that keeps them from growth. Everybody, because you come in the program, people go, well, who are they, and why am I here? And I wonder if their business is better than mine. Yeah, that all goes out the window after week one.
Well, I guess there's certain common denominators. All businesses need more customers. All businesses have accounting and overhead issues. There's
Yes.
most businesses have some kind of inventory or employee issues and liability issues. So I guess there's certain things that everybody's got, no matter what it is that they're providing for a service or product.
Right.
Now, you mentioned that there are national programs. There's a Maryland program. We have people who watch this, obviously you and I are both in Maryland, but we have a lot of people who watch this from around the country. So,
Yes.
If they are wanting to find out about one of these programs, how would they go ahead and do that to find one? Do they need to be in a local one? With the pandemic and with Zoom, can I say, okay, I live in Ohio, but I'm going to sign up for the Maryland cohort? How does that part fall into place now?
So our local cohorts basically are geographically restricted. So if you're in Maryland, you're going to be a Maryland-based business. If you're in Ohio, we have 3 programs in Ohio, 3 locations actually. The programs are the same. So let me set that straight. So whether you're in the national cohort or the local cohort, the modules, the consistency, the kind of how we run the programs are all very much the same, right? So whether you're in Ohio or Hawaii, you're going to get the same learning, right? The same scholar workbook is what we call it, the same homework. The only thing that really differs would be our faculty. So, we usually use local faculty if you're in a local cohort. Here in Maryland, we're affiliated with Johns Hopkins University, the Community College of Baltimore County, Morgan State University. So we get, faculty from, a variety of universities. If you're in Ohio, it may be one of the, local community colleges, but really top tier faculty teaching our classes.
Gotcha.
So on the national cohort now, if you don't, say for instance, your business is in Hawaii and we don't have a local cohort there, then you would apply for the national cohort. So how do you apply? Good question. We have, I think I sent you the link. So there is a website. It's the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program website. And so you go to the website and click on apply, and it'll walk you through how to apply. You get to choose where you want to be. If it's local, then it's local. If you don't have a cohort in your area, then you would apply for the national program.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it is an application, so you have to be accepted. So you might ask, well, what are some of the requirements or to get accepted? Now, if you don't meet those early requirements I talked about, the number of employees, the number of years in business, so forth, that may disqualify you, right, off the top. But then there may be some other things. You do go through an interview, right? So you have to be committed to this program. You just can't come in and then not do the work. It's a lot of work. So it's free. It's free $99, but
that's awesome. It's free. That's amazing.
It's free, but we require of you, you know, to put in a lot of your energy. So that's
Yeah,
why it's going to be important to work on your business when you're with us, to really take it serious. And we get a lot of that in the interview process. And we talk to people about how much time do you have to put into something like this, right?
gotcha.
You know, there we usually have waiting list for this program. It's one of the top programs of this kind in the country. And so there's a waiting list and people want to get in, not only for what they're going to get out of it for their business, but then you become an alumni and you share that status with over 10,000 businesses nationwide.
Fantastic. So how many times a year, let's take the local example, like how many times a year is there a local cohort?
So we run 3 cohorts per year,
Three.
and that those cohorts are, they should be spelled out. They should be spelled out online when you go in to apply,
Mhm.
because you get to choose kind of what time of
Nice.
year you want to participate in the program. If your busiest time of year is around the holiday, maybe, you know, the cohort that runs from September to December may not be the best one for you,
Sure.
right? If you got to pay attention to what's going on in your business, then you can't get away. Don't choose that. So we have 2 other sessions that run. One starts in January.
Mhm.
We've already predetermined that cohort, but we have a January one and it runs through about April. And then we have one in June and it'll run through August, September. So,
So they can pick one that's pretty much in their off season, so they have more time to focus, it sounds like.
yes, even though that doesn't always happen. The reality is, most entrepreneurs, if you're in a small business, you're always busy, right? You're always working on your business. But we do try to say, you know, the reality is you got to put your head in this game,
Yeah.
right? If you got to be in this game, it requires a lot of your stamina,
Mhm.
right? Because we're going to challenge you to think in ways that you haven't thought about your business before, right? You
Fabulous.
can't
Yes.
come in here thinking you know everything, right? Because you're not, you're going to find out very quickly you don't. And but that's the beauty of this program, is challenging yourself to know more, to always be in a learning mode. And so you gotta put in that energy because you're gonna get out of it what you put in. If you don't put in any energy into the program, then it would be a waste of time and you've taken somebody else's spot,
Yeah, I
right?
was going to say that's a shame because I mean, to have an opportunity like this for the fabulous tuition price of free is not something that you would want to take
399.
from somebody. That's pretty remarkable. So,
Yeah, and the other thing I want to tell you, Leanne, one of the most important parts of our program is that you're going to be creating a growth plan. So when I talk about putting your energy into and having the stamina to get through the program, we create growth plans at the end of this. And as a business advisor, we help you with determining your growth
mhm.
opportunity. We call them growth opportunities, and getting it on paper. So each module that you go through becomes a part of this growth plan that you're creating. And so it's different from a business plan, because a business plan is like, I'm going to start this business. This is the market research I've done for this business that I'm going to start. A
Mhm.
lot of times, a business plan is prior to you even opening your door, right?
Yes.
And perhaps getting the funding that you need from a bank to get that business started.
Mhm.
A growth plan is different. A growth plan focuses on that next step. So your business is in place. You've been working your business. You've got customers. You have some revenue. Now what are you going to do? You're going to stay where you are? No, you know, life doesn't happen that way, and neither does it happen in business. Like you said, it's kind of like this. So your business is going to evolve and it's going to take you into different directions. So, and I'm sure a lot of business owners have ideas. You know, a restaurant owner might say, I'm going to do takeout. You know, we haven't done takeout before. So how do I think about takeout? Well, it's hard to think about how to create a takeout offering when you are working in your business every
Yeah.
day. So this growth opportunity helps you get all of that on paper and do your financial projections around it and really,
Phenomenal.
yeah, come out prepared to take on this next step, take on the world.
It's amazing because you're basically teaching people how to level up, for lack of a better expression.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
there's a structure, there's training, there's homework, there's an entire thing to really walk somebody through it because,
Yeah.
as a business owner myself, it's so easy to go, I'm going to do this today and then get hit with 20 distractions. And then the day goes by and, you can have all these grandiose plans and never get to them or not know how to start them while still spinning the plate of keeping everything running. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So would you mind sharing a success story maybe of, somebody who did the program who had great results? I think that would be fascinating.
Mm. It's almost better to answer who didn't have I think all of our scholars, once you finish the program, the result of finishing, because you put so much thought into it, but seriously, we do have success stories. We have someone who came into the program during COVID in the construction business and basically was pretty much shut down, had been in business for over 20 years and didn't want to shut down her business, but was forced to kind of scale back because you just weren't getting the bids. Nobody was working, right? Well, during the cohort, she thought that her growth opportunity would be to focus on a particular geography, a county where she would become a woman business owner, a minority and woman-owned business in that county, and she would work to get contracts concentrated in that area because there were going to be a lot of bids in that and in her field. However, during the cohort, her patent came through.
Wow.
She actually had an invention, and her patent was approved in the program. Not in the program, but during the program. But it happened during the course of the program. So her growth opportunity kind of pivoted towards, selling this product that she invented. Now she was able to, now that she's out of the program, that's what she's working on. She created an entire sales mechanism, an entire marketing campaign to sell this product, right? And so she's working on that now. So sometimes your growth opportunity, you come in with one idea and you leave with another. Sometimes that growth opportunity you think you have, once you do the financial projections for them, no.
We're back to this path.
Yeah, it's this path. But guess what? If you don't go through this program and you sink a lot of money into an idea, guess what? And it doesn't work. You have wasted a lot of time. And so by coming through this program and really thinking through an idea and doing projections around financial projections, you can see for yourself whether it's something you need to course correct, whether you need to readjust. Maybe I can't hire 5 software engineers for this project.
Yeah.
Because they cost, $120,000, $130,000 for salary per software engineer. So maybe I need to rethink and tweak how many people I'm going to bring on, right?
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
It's just a really great way of testing an idea in kind of a virtual space before you actually launch it.
It's so wonderful. I love that show, Shark Tank. And who doesn't love that show? But there's so many times where you see people come on and they have gone down this rabbit hole of what they want to do and it hasn't worked, or they want to scale up and they have no idea what they're doing or how to do it. So, this is kind of like your own personal Shark Tank where you can get these people to help you.
Yes, and we help you as business advisors now, and the faculty helps you. We have a great team of people. So the thing about it, I will say, now that you mentioned Shark Tank, and I never miss an episode, even if it's streamed, we have had participants in our program who've gone through Shark Tank. So sometimes they've gone through Shark Tank in the midst of our program.
Wow.
But they wish they had waited to finish the program, to have a better pitch to the sharks, right? So, like, do you know your margins, your gross margins? Some people say, what is they come in the program? They go, what are my gross margins? I know my revenue. right? But what do the sharks always ask? How much does it cost to produce your product? How much do you sell it for? And they go, oh, those are great margins, or oh, those are terrible margins. You're a cockroach. Get out of here.
If you don't know your numbers, they eat you alive on that show for sure.
Yes,
But that
yes,
tells you a lot, because that's kind of how the business world works. It's just,
yes.
Pat, it's so great that there's something this powerful that has no to, I mean, not like you said, you have to get accepted to it, but to give
Mhm.
everybody an equal opportunity to participate, regardless of where they
Yeah.
are financially, without a huge tuition tag to it, because certainly people would pay for something like this. I know that you
Mhm.
mentioned it when are, I'm just going to ask you off the top of your head, for those who are in Maryland, when is the next one? And do you happen to know when the next national one might be as well?
So the next national one is actually the end of February. That's when it starts. So we're actually going to be interviewing for that in the next week or so.
Okay.
Um, and then the Maryland cohort, we start in January. We start in 2 weeks. 2 weeks already? It's January's here, folks.
I don't know how.
Yeah, so the cohort starts January 11th, and then the following one starts, I believe, April or May. Yeah.
So they can go to the
So,
site and see, like I said, if they're in Pennsylvania or wherever they're tuning in from, they can see when the next local one is, or if there's not a local, the national. And would you give out the W's, as I like to say? Would you give out the website, and then we'll post it too?
yeah, so our website, you're gonna tax me with thinking off the top of my head because I don't have it practiced. But it's www dot, hold on a second, I'm gonna give it to you. Give me one second. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that's fine. So while you're doing that, I'll
Yeah, I
start
have
with
it.
it.
It's www.10ksb. That's 10 S as in small, B as in business, apply.com.
Perfect. And there are two ways people will see this and get this information. One is in the SLAE Facebook group, and the other is on the SLAE YouTube channel. So if you are watching this in the SLAE Facebook group, then Pat has joined the group. So you're okay if they message you or post questions. And
Oh, sure.
perfect. So you can post any questions. We'll post that website below
Yes.
the interview, and you can go ahead and tag her and ask any questions you have. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I'm going to ask her if she would be so kind as to check those comments too. So if you want to post any comments or questions, you can see that, and we will post the link there as well. So thank you for your time and wisdom and bringing this awesome opportunity to people. It's just fantastic. And we have so many entrepreneurs in this group.
Oh, well, everyone should apply. If you haven't come through our program, please apply. It'll change your life.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And we will be back live next week. This is actually kicking off a little series we have, because we do know, as I mentioned, at the end of the year, we start reflecting, and going into the new year, we all have grandiose and fabulous plans. Next week will be some exciting opportunities to focus on goal setting, and you do not have to be an entrepreneur for that one. So no matter what you're up to, we will be back next Tuesday live at 5. But thank you again, Pat, for bringing this program to everyone's attention. And we certainly hope to have some of our people accepted to it. That would be a great way for them to grow their business.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me. This has been fun. I'd love to come
Such a
back and talk about
pleasure.
it again.
So thank you, everyone. Have a safe and healthy and happy new year. And we will see you next year. We'll be back next Tuesday. Take care.
Happy New Year.